Hello, my fellow animal lovers. How are you today? Before I ferry you to dreamland, if you love the content and you love animals, I want you to support the channel by subscribing. By the way, tell us where you are in the world. What time is it over there? I look forward to reading all your comments. Get comfortable. Your story is about to begin. Enjoy. Introduction. The turning of the world. The world is turning. It is always turning. But now, in the last days of autumn, you can feel it. You can feel the great slow tilt of the earth, leaning away from the sun. The light has changed. It is no longer the bright high light of summer, but a low golden light that spills across the land for only a few short hours each day. The shadows are long. Even at noon, they stretch like dark fingers from the base of every tree, every stone. This is the time of letting go. The great deciduous trees, the oaks and maples, have released their leaves. They fall in a slow cascade of red and gold, blanketing the forest floor. The air itself is changing. There is a crispness to it now, a clean, sharp edge that speaks of the cold to come. It is a whisper that travels on the wind, a message that the time of abundance is ending, and the time of stillness is about to begin. For the bear, this turning of the world is not a surprise. It is an ancient memory, a rhythm held deep within its body. It is a story told not in words, but in the slant of the light and the scent of the air. The shortening of the days is a signal, a gentle and persistent call to begin the long journey inward. The world is preparing to rest, and the bear must prepare as well. This great sleep is not just an escape from the cold. It is a form of ancient wisdom, an answer to a simple question: how to live when there is nothing to live on. It is an evolutionary marvel, a way to endure the simple absence of food, the quiet scarcity of winter. For months the world will offer little nourishment. The berries are gone, the fish have retreated to the deep, and the green shoots of spring are a distant dream. And so the bear does not fight the coming emptiness. It joins it. It becomes a part of the quiet. This is a dance that the whole forest knows. The trees pull their energy down into their roots, entering a deep dormancy, a winter sleep of their own. The earth itself seems to take a long, slow breath, holding it for the duration of the cold. The planet is a single living thing, a self-regulating system that breathes in seasons, and the bear's hibernation is a part of this global breath, a quiet pause in the planet's larger life. It is not just one creature's solution to survival. It is an act of communion, a deep alignment with the rhythm of a sleeping world. We will follow the bear on this journey. We will follow it from the last days of sunlight into the deep, quiet dark. We will feel the slowing of its heart, the lengthening of its breath. We will enter the stillness of the den, a small, safe space hollowed from the earth. And there, in the profound quiet, we will listen to the slow, secret work of a body in deep repose, a body that has become a world unto itself. This is not a story of struggle or survival. It is a story of surrender, a story of letting go. It is a journey into the heart of winter, into the very center of stillness itself. Chapter 1. The Last Taste of Sunlight. Before the long sleep, there is a great hunger. It is a deep and ancient instinct, a pull that governs the bear's every waking moment in the fading days of autumn. This period is called hyperphagia, a time of excessive eating, but it is not a frantic or desperate act. It is a slow, methodical, and meditative process. It is a ritual of embodiment, of drawing the entire forest into oneself. For up to 20 hours a day, the bear moves through the woods, its senses entirely focused on this single task. It is gathering the last of the year's energy, the last of the sun's warmth stored in the flesh of fruits and the meat of nuts. Every day, it consumes a staggering amount of food, as many as 20,000 calories, a feast that would be impossible at any other time of year. This is not for pleasure, but for purpose. It is building a fortress of fat, a reserve of life that will sustain it through the long, lean months of winter. Each pound gained is another day, another week of quiet, uninterrupted sleep. The forest floor is a banquet. The bear's broad paws shuffle through the crisp, dry leaves, its powerful nose reading the story of the earth. There is the sharp, satisfying crack of an acorn shell, broken between strong teeth to reveal the oily, high-calorie meat inside. Acorns, hickory nuts, beech nuts, these are dense packages of stored sunlight, the very essence of the tree's summer work, now offered to the bear. It finds the last of the season's berries, clinging to their brittle stems. The soft, yielding skin of a high-bush cranberry bursts in its mouth, a flash of tartness and sweetness. It strips branches of blueberries and salmon berries, their dark juice staining its lips. These fruits are rich in sugars, a quick and potent fuel, the final sweet gift of the dying year. The bear is eating memories of summer, transforming the light and warmth of a past season into the substance of its own body. Its powerful claws tear at the ground, unearthing the starchy roots of plants, their earthy taste a reminder of the deep soil. It finds insects and their larvae, small pockets of protein hidden in rotting logs. And if it is near a river, it may find the last good meal of the year, a late run of salmon, their bodies silver and heavy, providing the rich fats and proteins needed for the final stage of preparation. The bear is not just a consumer in this landscape, it is a vital part of it. As it feasts on berries, it carries the seeds within its body, depositing them far and wide in its droppings. It is a gardener, a sower, ensuring the forest's renewal even as it prepares for its own retreat. Its feasting is an act of reciprocity, a give and take with the land that has sustained it. Then, as the days grow even shorter and the first hard frosts silver the ground, a change occurs. The great hunger begins to subside. This is the fall transition, a gentle descent into lethargy. The bear has eaten its fill. Its body is heavy, rounded, insulated with the thick layer of fat that will be its sustenance. Now it begins to rest more than it forages, sometimes for 22 hours a day or more. It voluntarily eats less, but it continues to drink, seeking out streams and pools of clean, cold water, its body purging itself, preparing for the long fast ahead. Its movements become slower, more deliberate. Its heart, which beat at a steady 80 to 100 times a minute during the summer, now begins to slow its rhythm, dropping to 50 or 60 beats per minute even when the bear is active. And when it sleeps, the beat slows further still, a deep resonant drumming that sinks below 22 beats per minute. This is the beginning of the great slowing. The world outside is quieting, and the world inside the bear is beginning to quiet too. The last taste of sunlight has been savored. The energy of the forest has been gathered and stored. Now the journey turns from the outer world to the inner, from the forest to the den, from feasting to fasting, from motion to a profound and lasting stillness. Chapter 2: Hollowing a Space in the Earth. The search for a den is a quiet and patient process, an instinct that unfolds over many months. Throughout the summer and fall, as the bear wanders its territory, it is also looking, noting, and remembering. It is searching for a place of absolute safety, a sanctuary that will hold it through the winter. The ideal den is a space that offers shelter from the wind and the rain, a place that will remain dry when the snows melt. Often, it will be on a north-facing slope, a place where the winter sun is weakest and the snow will lie deep and long, adding its own thick blanket of insulation to the home below. The den itself can take many forms. It is not the great open cave of stories, but a small, close space, just large enough for the bear's body. It might be a hollow at the base of a great ancient tree, where the heartwood has rotted away, leaving a wooden womb. It could be a deep crevice in a rock face, a natural fissure that leads into the quiet dark of the earth. Or the bear may dig its own den, carving a chamber into a hillside, its powerful claws scraping away soil and stone until it has hollowed out a space beneath the tangled anchoring roots of a tree. The entrance is always small, just wide enough for the bear to squeeze through. This narrow passage is a threshold, a gateway between the world of wind and light and the world of stillness and dark. To enter the den is to return to the earth. It is a journey into a space that is both a shelter and a symbol. It is the womb of the world, a place of safety and gestation, a connection to the deep, nurturing power of the Great Mother. The den is a sacred space, an axis mundi, a center point where the bear can rest in perfect security, held by the body of the earth itself. Inside, the world is transformed. The senses, which were filled with the sights and sounds of the forest, are now met with a profound quiet. The darkness is near total, a soft, velvety blackness that is not empty, but full of peace. It is a darkness that rests the eyes and calms the mind. The air is still and cool, but not cold. A few feet below the surface, the earth maintains a remarkably constant temperature, a gentle coolness that remains steady through the deepest freezes of winter and the heat of summer. The scent of the den is the scent of the earth itself. It is not an unpleasant smell, but a clean and ancient one. It is the smell of damp soil, a fragrance known as petrichor, which comes from oils released by the earth and compounds made by tiny bacteria. It is the clean mineral scent of rock and the faint, sweet smell of decaying leaves. Mingled with this is the bear's own scent, a light, clean musk, the smell of thick fur and healthy animal. There is no smell of waste, for the bear will not soil its den. It is a pristine and sacred space. The final act of preparation is to build the bed. The bear gathers mouthfuls of soft materials, making many trips to line the floor of its chamber. It creates a thick, insulating mattress, a nest to cradle its sleeping body. It might use the dry, leathery leaves of oak trees, which are full of tannins and decompose very slowly, creating a durable, springy layer that will last the entire winter. The texture is smooth and tough, a rustling blanket against its fur, or it may gather great clumps of moss, pulling soft, living carpets from the forest floor. There are mosses that grow in dense, flat mats, like green velvet, and others that grow in upright, pillow-like tufts. The moss is cool and damp to the touch, and it holds moisture, helping to regulate the humidity within the den. It feels like a soft, living cushion, full of the forest's quiet life. Sometimes the bedding is made of pine needles or the boughs of fir and cedar. These bring their own sharp, clean scent into the den, a fragrance of resins and terpenes. Over the long months, these aromatic compounds will slowly break down, their scent changing subtly, marking the slow passage of time in a place where time seems to have stopped. This carefully constructed den is more than just a shelter. It is an external organ, an extension of the bear's own body, perfectly designed to facilitate the deep rest to come. The thick walls of earth and rock, the insulating mattress of leaves and moss, the small protected entrance, all of these elements work together to create a state of profound sensory deprivation. The den is a natural anechoic chamber. The porous earth and the soft bedding absorb sound waves, creating a silence so deep it is almost a physical presence. The outside world, with its howling winds and cracking branches, fades away to nothing. The bear has built a physical space that perfectly mirrors the physiological space it is about to enter. It has hollowed a place in the earth, and now it is ready to hollow a space within itself. Chapter 3. The Slowing Tide. Now curled within the deep quiet of the den, the final and most profound stage of the journey begins. It is a journey inward, into the very architecture of the body. The bear surrenders to a great weight, a feeling of immense heaviness that seems to pull it down into the earth. This is the beginning of torpor, a state far deeper than ordinary sleep. It is a feeling of sinking, of letting go of all tension, as the body becomes one with the soft bed of leaves and moss. The boundary between the bear and the den floor begins to dissolve. The first rhythm to change is the heart, the steady, powerful beat that drove the bear through the forest, that fueled its great autumn feast, now begins to quiet. It is like a drum whose beat becomes slower and slower and slower still. From a waking rate of 50 or 60 beats per minute, it descends into a deep and profound calm. The intervals between each beat grow longer, stretching out into silent pauses. The rate falls to 20 beats per minute, then 10. At its deepest, the bear's heart may beat only 8 times in a minute, a slow, resonant thrum that echoes in the stillness of the body. It is not a sign of weakness, but of incredible strength and control. It is the sound of life being conserved, of energy being held in perfect stillness. It is a slow, deep pulse, the very heartbeat of the sleeping earth. The tide of the breath follows the heart. In the waking world, breath is a constant companion, an endless cycle of in and out. But now, that cycle elongates into a vast and patient rhythm. The great chest rises, drawing in the cool, still air of the den, and then it falls, releasing the breath in a long, slow sigh. And then there is a pause, a long suspended moment of utter stillness. The pause can last for 10 seconds, 20, even 45 seconds before the next breath is taken. The air, once a constant need, is now only an occasional visitor. The sound of this breathing is a low, gruff snore, a deep rumble that speaks of the body's immense weight and repose, followed by a silence so complete it feels eternal. Each breath is a slow, oceanic wave, rising and falling on the shores of a deep and dreamless sleep. The internal fire of the body is banked. The bear's metabolism, the chemical furnace that converts food into warmth and energy, slows to a mere whisper of its summer intensity, operating at as little as 25% of its normal rate. The body's temperature begins to drop, but only slightly. It cools by about 8 to 12 degrees, from its normal 100 degrees Fahrenheit, down to around 88 or 90. This is one of the great wonders of the bear's hibernation. It is not the deep, near-frozen state of smaller hibernators like rodents or bats. It is a carefully controlled cooling, a lowering of the flame, but not an extinguishing of it. This slight warmth is the key to a remarkable paradox. The bear is in a state of profound dormancy, its body almost entirely shut down, yet it is not unconscious, it is not in a coma, it remains aware, on some deep primal level, of the world around it. This is not sleep as we know it, nor is it simple wakefulness. It is a third state of being, a condition of alert stillness. If a great danger were to threaten the den, if a tree were to fall and crush the roof, the bear could awaken. It can stir, shift its position to prevent sores from forming, and a mother can care for her newborn cubs, all without truly leaving her state of rest. This is the secret of the bear's winter slumber. It is not an abandonment of the world, but a deeper, quieter form of listening. The body is still, the heart is slow, the breath is long, but the spirit of the bear, the core of its being, remains present. It has withdrawn from the noise and motion of the world to enter a state of pure being, a quiet, conscious rest. It has become a living embodiment of the deep, watchful silence of the winter forest itself. The tide of its life has pulled back, revealing the calm, steady floor of existence beneath. Chapter 4: A World Within. For months, the den is a sealed universe. The bear is a planet unto itself, a perfectly self-sustaining system floating in the deep, quiet space of winter. There are no external inputs. No food passes its lips. Not a single drop of water is drunk. For up to 7 months, the bear will not eat, drink, urinate, or defecate. It lives entirely on what it carries within. The world it has entered is a world of pure physiology, a silent internal alchemy that transforms the memory of summer into the reality of winter survival. The fuel for this long journey is the thick layer of fat built up during the autumn feast. This fat is more than just stored energy, it is stored sunlight, the condensed essence of 1,000 berries, 100 salmon, 1,000,000 nuts. Now, in the slow, cool furnace of the hibernating body, this fat is meticulously broken down. It is a clean burning fuel, releasing the calories needed to maintain the body's gentle warmth, to power the slow beat of the heart and the occasional deep breath. The bear burns up to 4,000 calories a day, a testament to the immense energy required even for this state of near stillness. By the time it emerges in spring, it may have lost up to a third of its body weight, all of it a gift from the previous season's abundance. This process also creates one of the bear's most profound miracles. It makes its own water. As the fat molecules are metabolized, they release not only energy, but also water in a perfect life-sustaining ratio. The bear carries its own internal river, a silent circulating current that keeps its cells hydrated and its systems functioning. It feels no thirst because its own body is a wellspring, a closed and perfect water cycle that prevents dehydration without a single sip from the outside world. The most wondrous transformation, however, is what the bear's body does with its own waste. In any other animal, a fast of this length would lead to a toxic buildup of urea, a nitrogen-rich compound that is the main component of urine. But the bear's body possesses a secret wisdom. Its kidneys almost completely shut down, and the urea is not excreted. Instead, it is reabsorbed into the bloodstream and recycled. The nitrogen is cleaved from the urea molecules and used to build new proteins. This is a quiet internal magic of the highest order. The body takes what would be a poison and transforms it into the building blocks of life. It spins waste into strength. This remarkable process allows the bear to maintain its muscle mass and keep its organs healthy, even after months of immobility. It avoids the muscle atrophy and bone density loss that would affect any other creature, including humans, in a similar state. It emerges from the den in spring almost as strong as when it entered. It is a feat of biological engineering so perfect that scientists study it in the hope of helping humans with kidney disease or preventing muscle loss in astronauts on long space voyages. For a pregnant female, this internal world is not just a sanctuary for herself, but also a nursery. The fertilized embryo, which paused its development after mating in the summer, only implants in her uterus after she has denned, and only if she has stored enough fat to sustain a family. Then, in the deep quiet of midwinter, typically in January or February, she gives birth. The cubs are impossibly small, weighing less than a pound, and are born blind, nearly hairless and utterly helpless. The den becomes their entire world, a warm, dark, safe cradle. The mother bear, in her state of semi-sleep, nurses them with her rich milk. She licks them clean, consuming their waste to keep the den pristine and to recycle every last bit of moisture and nutrients. She curls her great warm body around them, a living furnace and a protective wall against the frozen world outside. Their lives begin in the heart of the great winter sleep. Their first sensations, the feeling of their mother's fur, the taste of her milk, and the sound of her slow, steady breath. They are born into a world of pure stillness, their own small heartbeats joining the slow, deep rhythm of their mothers, all held within the quiet, dreaming body of the earth. Chapter 5. The Deepest Quiet. In the absolute darkness of the den, in the profound silence that surrounds the sleeping bear, the journey inward reaches its final destination. Here, in this state of suspended animation, the very nature of experience changes. The world of doing, of acting and reacting, has fallen away completely. What remains is a state of pure being, a form of consciousness that is both ancient and deeply mysterious. This is not sleep in the way we understand it. Ordinary sleep is a landscape of dreams, of narratives woven by the subconscious mind from the threads of our waking lives. The mind tells itself stories, solves problems, relives fears and desires, but the bear's hibernation is often a dreamless state, a journey into a place beyond story. It is a descent into a quiet so profound that even the imagination rests. It is what the poet John Keats called the hushed casket of my soul, a place sealed and protected where the agitations of the world cannot enter. The mind is not creating worlds, it is simply resting in its own elemental light, a state of pure awareness without content. In this deep quiet, the linear flow of time dissolves. Our waking lives are governed by the clock, by the relentless progression of past, present, and future. But for the hibernating bear, this progression ceases to have meaning. It exists in a state that can be described as an extended now, a single continuous moment that stretches for months. This experience of timelessness is something that human mystics and meditators have sought for centuries. It is a state of being fully present without anticipation of the future or memory of the past. This concept of time is not unfamiliar to human thought. The Aboriginal peoples of Australia speak of the dream time, or the everywhen, a dimension of reality where the past of the ancestors, the present moment, and the future all coexist as one. It is not a historical past, but an eternal, uncreated state that underlies all of reality. Similarly, Hindu philosophy conceives of time not as a straight line, but as a great cycle, a spiral of creation and dissolution that has no beginning and no end. The bear, in its den, has instinctively entered such a state. It is not waiting for spring, it is simply existing in a timeless present, suspended from the river of sequential time. This state of being can be seen as the ultimate expression of stillness, a wisdom that is found at the heart of many spiritual traditions. To be still is to quiet the busy, chattering mind, to let the clouds of thought clear away, revealing the pure awareness that lies beneath. The bear achieves this not through effort or practice, but through a perfect surrender to its own nature. The den, its self-made sensory deprivation chamber, provides the external conditions for this stillness, while its own physiology creates the internal state. In this quiet, the boundaries of the self may begin to soften. The waking world is defined by the separation between me and not me. But in the deep, non-dual state of hibernation, this distinction becomes less important. The bear's body is a closed ecosystem, a world unto itself, yet it is also in perfect harmony with the world outside. Its stillness mirrors the stillness of the frozen earth. Its slow breath is the breath of the dormant forest. Some philosophies, like panpsychism, suggest that consciousness is not limited to complex brains, but is a fundamental property of the universe, present in some rudimentary form in all matter. From this perspective, the bear in its den is not an isolated consciousness. It is a focal point of the Earth's own quiet, dreaming consciousness, a place where the planet's awareness is turned inward for a season of rest. The bear has become a landscape. Its great still body is a mountain range, its slow breath the wind, its deep quiet mind the vast silent sky. It has journeyed beyond the self, beyond time, beyond story, into the very heart of being. It is a living expression of the deepest quiet the world can know. Chapter 6. The forest breathes in snow. While the bear sleeps in its hidden world, the world outside is transformed. The last of the autumn colors have faded, and the forest stands bare, a skeleton of black branches against a gray sky. Then the air changes. A new kind of moisture fills it, and the first snowflakes begin to fall. They are not the heavy, wet flakes of a late storm, but the light, dry powder of deep winter, born in the coldest reaches of the atmosphere. Each snowflake is a tiny miracle of geometry, a perfect six-sided crystal of ice. It begins as a microscopic droplet of water freezing onto a speck of dust or pollen, and as it tumbles through the clouds, water vapor freezes directly onto its surface, building out its intricate arms. No two snowflakes are ever exactly alike, because each one follows a unique path to the earth, its final shape a perfect record of the temperatures and humidity it encountered on its journey. They are falling maps of the winter sky. As the snow falls, a profound silence descends upon the forest. Snow is a natural acoustic insulator. The intricate crystalline structure of a fresh blanket of snow is full of empty spaces, tiny pockets of trapped air. When sound waves travel through the air and strike the snow, they are not reflected. Instead, they are absorbed into these spaces, their energy dampened and dissipated. The world becomes muffled, as if wrapped in a thick, soft blanket. Distant sounds vanish. The only sound that remains is the faintest whisper, a soft, high-pitched SS as the flakes themselves touch the ground. A sound so quiet it is more a feeling in the air than something truly heard. The forest itself is in a state of deep rest, a mirror of the bear's own hibernation. The deciduous trees, the oaks and maples, are fully dormant. They have dropped their leaves and sealed their buds, their metabolism slowed to a bare minimum to conserve the sugars they stored during the summer. Their bare branches become a delicate black lace against the white snow, each twig and bough perfectly outlined. The conifers, the pines, spruces, and hemlocks are not fully dormant, but they too have slowed their growth. Their needles are coated in a thick, waxy layer that prevents them from losing water to the dry winter air. Their dense boughs catch the falling snow, providing shelter for small birds and mammals, creating pockets of moderated microclimate where the temperature is slightly warmer and the snow depth is less. The entire forest is holding its breath, waiting for the return of the sun. When night falls, the winter forest is bathed in a special kind of light. A full moon rising over a snow-covered landscape creates a world of silver and blue. The snow reflects the moonlight, filling the woods with a soft, ethereal glow, bright enough to cast shadows. The shadows of the bare trees are a deep, vivid blue against the brilliant white of the snow. It is a world of stark and beautiful contrasts. The sunrise, too, has its own unique winter palette. The light is not the fiery gold of summer, but a more subtle and gentle display of color. The eastern sky may blush with pale pinks and soft lavenders, the undersides of the clouds touched with a muted ochre red. It is a quiet and gentle awakening, a slow return of color to a monochrome world. Above this sleeping world, the great winter constellations turn in the clear, cold air. Orion the hunter dominates the southern sky, his belt of 3 bright stars in a perfect row, with the red giant Betelgeuse at his shoulder and the blue-white Rydal at his foot. He is followed by his 2 hunting dogs, Canis Major, which holds Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, and the smaller Canis Minor. To the right of Orion is Taurus the bull, his eye marked by the bright star Aldebaran, and to the left the twin stars of Castor and Pollux mark the heads of Gemini, and sometimes, in the far north, the sky itself comes alive with a silent, shimmering light. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, appear as a curtain of pale mint-green light, a celestial river flowing soundlessly across the heavens, a sight described as a soundless sound, like softly bruised silk. The world outside the den has become a perfect reflection of the world within. The stillness of the snow-covered forest echoes the stillness of the bear's body. The deep quiet of the muffled landscape mirrors the profound silence within the den. The suspended animation of the dormant trees is a perfect counterpart to the bear's own slowed metabolism. The boundary between the creature and its environment has dissolved. The bear is the forest, and the forest is the bear. They are united in a single vast and peaceful winter sleep. Conclusion: a whisper of dawn. The deepest part of the winter is a time of perfect balance, a point of stillness at the center of the turning year. The bear rests in its den, held in the quiet embrace of the earth. The forest rests under its blanket of snow, held in the cold, clear air. Everything is as it should be. The great sleep continues, a long, slow breath held for months on end. But nothing, not even this profound stillness, lasts forever. The world is always turning. Deep in the earth, a change is beginning, so subtle it is almost imperceptible. The great tilt of the planet has reached its furthest point, and now, second by second, it begins to lean back toward the sun. The days, which had shrunk to their shortest, now begin to lengthen, gaining a few moments of light each afternoon. This is not yet the spring. The air is still cold. The snow lies deep. But a promise has been made. A signal has been sent, not through the air, but through the earth itself. The ground, which has been frozen solid, begins to feel a subtle shift in its deep, geothermal warmth. Sometimes this shift causes the snow to melt from below, and a trickle of cold water may find its way into the den, a gentle nudge from the waking world. The bear stirs in its sleep. The awakening is not a sudden event, not a flick of a switch from sleep to wakefulness. It is a slow, gradual process, a gentle tide returning to the shore. It is a phase called walking hibernation, a period of 2 or 3 weeks where the bear's body slowly remembers how to live in the active world. The heart, which has been beating its slow, deep rhythm, begins to quicken its pace, beat by beat. The long, silent pauses between breaths begin to shorten. The internal furnace of the metabolism slowly rekindles its fires, and a little more warmth begins to flow through the bear's veins. The body is still heavy with sleep, the mind still groggy, half anchored in the timeless world of the den. It is a slow ascent from the depths, a gentle transition back into the stream of time. But for now, the sleep holds. The deep peace of the den remains. The bear is still curled in its nest of leaves and moss, its great body rising and falling with each slow, patient breath. The world outside is still quiet, still white, still dreaming under the winter moon. The journey is not over. The stillness is still here. Let us remain in this quiet place for a little while longer. Let us listen not to the world outside, but to the world within. Let us listen to the slow, steady rhythm of a sleeping heart, a deep, resonant beat, a pause, another beat. The sound is like a single drum struck softly in the center of a silent world. It is the sound of life, held in its purest, simplest form. It is the sound of deep and perfect rest. Let the rhythm of that slow heartbeat guide you now. Let it be the only thing you hear, a slow, steady drum, a deep and peaceful rhythm. Let it carry you down, down into your own quiet place, down into the stillness, down into sleep.